In solitary confinement, you can spend 24 hours of your day alone, locked away with your own thoughts. If you're lucky enough, you'll get a brief interaction with a prison guard and get 1 hour of free time per day. You are shut away from the world in many ways. In fact, lots of prison guards have spoke up about the conditions in solitary confinement and say that it is far worse of a punishment than the death penalty. So let's take a look at some of the scariest criminal masterminds that are in solitary confinement. Hey everyone, what's up and welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. I'm your host, Lindsay Ivan, and today I'm bringing you the top 10 scary prisoners left in solitary confinement Part 3. Now this is part 3 to this video series, so if you haven't already, make sure to check out part 1 and 2 as well. Starting off this countdown, we have Richard Reed. In 2003, Richard Reed was sentenced to 3 consecutive life sentences and 110 years with no parole. Reed, also known as the Shoe Bomber, attempted to detonate a shoe bomb in 2001 while aboard American Airlines Flight 63 that was going from Paris to Miami. In 2006, The Telegraph wrote an article detailing the life of Richard in solitary confinement. They said that for 23 hours of the day he was locked in his small cell. The cell is equipped with motion sensors, video cameras, and he has someone constantly monitoring him. Every half hour he is checked in on by the guards through a small window in his door. His meals are passed through a slot in the door and have to be eaten in the cell. That would drive me insane. I would not fare well in solitary confinement. And at number 9 we have Cabony Savage. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Cabony Savage is an American drug dealer and murderer. He has committed a number of crimes, but the one that landed him in solitary confinement was when he killed 6 family members in a firebombing. The family was the Colemans. Eugene Coleman was going to testify against Savage in a drug trial. As a result, he had Eugene's mother's home firebombed, which resulted in the death of 6 individuals, including Eugene. But he was convicted of murdering 12 people. As a result, he was given the death sentence. In fact, he is the first man from Philadelphia in modern history to receive a federal death sentence. Savage currently spends his days in solitary confinement waiting for his death penalty. Coming in at number 8, we have Dzhokhar Tsarnaev. Dzhokhar Tsarnaev was sentenced to death in 2015 after he was responsible for the Boston Marathon bombing on April 15, 2013. The bombing resulted in the death of 3 people and injured around 280 others. He now spends his days in solitary confinement in ADX Florence until he receives his death penalty. But like the guard said, the death penalty is an easy way out of the crimes. Solitary confinement is the real hard punishment. Making our way down the list at number 7, we have Barry Mills. Barry Mills lived a life of crime. He was incarcerated at a young age, and from there he grew to be a brutal leader of a prison gang. This gang was huge across prisons. It resulted in numerous prison wars. In fact, he was still actively recruiting members while behind bars. Being placed into solitary confinement couldn't even stop this. Barry was placed into solitary confinement in 2002 after being one of the 40 people charged with committing 32 murders. This gave him the name the Vengeful Killer. Now, Barry is a pretty terrifying looking inmate. He would always wear dark sunglasses because his eye got damaged in a prison fight. Barry spent his time in solitary confinement until 2018 when he passed away. Moving on to number 6, we have Joseph Duncan. Joseph Edward Duncan III was responsible for the kidnapping and deaths of the Groen family. In 2005, Joseph went on a frenzy, stalking the Groen family for days before finally attacking. He killed 4 out of the 5 family members, but he is responsible for the death of many others. As a result, he was given the death penalty and is currently living in solitary confinement until the day he dies. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with Joseph Lombardo. Joseph Patrick Lombardo, otherwise known as Joey the Clown, was a loan shark, hitman, and mobster. This guy had a life of crime. He started off as a jewel thief, then moved on to kidnapping, illegal gambling, and loan sharking. But none of those things got him placed into solitary confinement. In 2009, he was sentenced to life in prison for 7 mob murders, along with other crimes. He was serving his sentence at the ADX Florence, where he died at the age of 90. Moving on at number 4, we have El Chapo. Joaquin Guzman, otherwise known as El Chapo, was a leader of a huge drug cartel. In fact, the US Justice Department described it as one of the world's most prolific, violent, and powerful drug cartels. Now, he was given the name El Chapo because that means shorty, and Guzman is only 5'6". In 2014, Joaquin claimed that he killed anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 people. Now, here's the thing, Joaquin has managed to escape almost every prison that has locked him away. This scared a lot of people. But in 2016, he was recaptured and sent to the States to be tried for a federal charge. He was found guilty and locked away at ADX Florence in solitary confinement, where he has yet managed to escape. In our third spot, we have Mark David Chapman. I'm sure a lot of you know about him because he is the man who murdered John Lennon. Rest in peace. On December 8th, 1980, Chapman waited outside of Lennon's Manhattan apartment for him to come down. When he did, he shot him 4 times in the back. Apparently he did so because of Lennon's immense fame. As a result, he was sentenced to 20 years to life in prison. He is currently held in solitary confinement in the Wendy Correctional Facility in upstate New York. The only outside interaction he gets is from his wife once a year and occasional visits from his sister and a few friends. He is part of the family reunion program, so this allows him up to 48 hours alone with his wife in his specially built prison home. That's where he will spend the rest of his life until he dies. In our second spot, we have the Unabomber. The Unabomber is the name given to Ted Kaczynski, as he was responsible for numerous mail bombings on innocent people. Apparently, Ted is a very intelligent individual. He skipped 6th grade, has an IQ of 167, and went to Harvard. It's a shame that he didn't put his intelligence to good use. Ted was responsible for sending 16 homemade bombs in the mail that killed 3 individuals and injured 23. As a result, he was charged with 3 counts of homicide and was sentenced to 8 lifetimes in prison. According to another prison inmate, he described Ted as being very weird. Apparently, he won't even go outside when he is allowed to. He spent 24 hours of his day locked away by will. But he was used to it and didn't mind it, since before being placed in solitary confinement, he spent his time in his 12 by 10 foot cabin. And in our number 1 spot, we have Charles Harrelson. Charles Harrelson was an American hitman and organized crime figure, but some of you may know him better as Woody Harrelson's father. Yes, beloved actor Woody Harrelson had a father who was a cold-blooded killer, but he was just 7 at the time when his father first went to prison. While it's said that he was responsible for the deaths of at least 20 people. In 1979, that is when Charles committed his biggest kill of all time. He took out a federal judge by the name of Judge John H. Wood Jr., the first federal judge to be killed in the 20th century. He was paid $250,000 to kill off Judge John. It was because a drug dealer was about to be sentenced by this judge, who was known as Maximum John because he always gave out really harsh punishments to drug dealers. So he got Charles to knock him off for him, but this landed him behind bars and in solitary confinement. He was there until he was 69 years old when he died from a heart attack. And that's all for today's video. Let's move on to our comment shoutout portion. I'll be shouting out comments from my video, Top 10 Criminal Masterminds Who Were Never Caught. Big Dawes TV commented, "I pray whoever likes this comment become a billionaire." I liked that comment as many times as I could. I was just clicking the button. Please pray for me. I would love to become a billionaire, so. And if I do, shout out to Big Dawes TV. Super Owenma commented, "Hi Lindsay, you're the best host. And is it true that you are friends with Siren Head?" Sources say that it is true. Shh, keep it a secret. Music Girl 101 commented, "Have you ever wondered if one of the people on this list have seen this video? Like, can you imagine if those masterminds that are still on the run was just sitting down, they're like, hey, let's see what people say about me, or let's see what people have said about me today. And then they just watch my video and they're like, this is cool. Like freaking DB Cooper just watching me. That'd be scary. Please don't come for me. And that's all the comments I'm showing up for today's video. Make sure to comment something down below for a chance to be featured in my next comment shoutout. And as always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to Most Amazing Top 10 for more amazing videos. I've been your host, Lindsay Ivan, and I'll see you when I see ya. Coming in at number this name. That D is silent. It's Dzhokhar. Yeah, it's Dzhokhar. Yeah, Dzhokhar. Dzhokhar Tsarnaev. Tsarnaev. Joaquin Guzman, otherwise known as El Chapo, was a leader. Guzman. Guzman? I said Guzman? Guzman. Joaquin Guzman, otherwise known as El Chapo. Joaquin Guzman, otherwise known as El Chapo. Chapo?
Yeah.
Chapo or Chapo? No, it's Chapo. Joaquin Guzman, otherwise known as El Chapo. Oh my god, Chapo? Ugh! It's a shame that he didn't put